Hello and welcome. Today we will be trying to do something that we have never done before. Today we're doing a track guide for the Nürburgring combined for the 24-hour event that's going to be held this weekend. I'm going to walk around the lap and teach you braking points and where to turn in and maybe where to hit the gas and stuff. So let's start here. The time we will be referencing today is a 18.15.782 that I just did in this race that we just had. So yeah, let's start and I will walk you through. And I'm talking in English because I don't really know why, to be honest. So let's go. First, what we do when we get down the straight here is that we brake. There's a little bit of a kink here in the pit exit line. And when the car is on that, that's where I brake. And then I brake in a straight line. As you will see, I will start to brake in the middle of the track and then go towards the left. You see, hitting the left. And then I wait a little bit for the last downshift, so you have started to turn when you hit the last downshift, so you get more rotation out of it. And then try not to cut the bollard there. And then this corner I still have no idea how to do, so good luck. But you have to go really close to the wall here. It almost feels like you're hitting the wall when you're sitting in the car. I can show you. So look at this. You feel like you're gonna hit the tires there, but somehow you miss. And then all you have to do is watch out for the oversteer here, because you can get some really nasty oversteer. Here I try to brake right when the cones and the when this, I don't know what you would call it, the other layout here, when this ends, that's about where I brake. First brake in the straight line, and then you downshift and hug the curb. You need to hug the curb all the way. You can drive out a little bit here, but you need to go way over to the left here. I could even go a little bit further here, because this right-hander is such a tight turn that you have to go very far to the left so you can bring as much speed as possible to not lose time here. And then when you start to see the exit, you want to hit the pedal flat out. These cars have traction control, of course, so you can hit the pedal quite hard without having too much oversteer. But of course don't be drifting through here, but you want to hit the gas quite hard since it's a straight afterwards. Then we get down to the hairpin here. This hairpin is also very tricky. I usually brake right when my rear axle is aligned with this, when the grass stops and this like rumble strip thing when it ends, when it starts I mean. So you brake in a straight line here. And same here, you wait for downshift, the last downshift until very late in the corner, so you get that rotation. Listen to when I downshift here. Here, I'm almost halfway through the turn when I do my last downshift. That's because when you want as much rolling speed as possible, so you have it in second. And then when you want the last rotation before you hit the gas, you downshift, roll a little bit, and then you punch the gas. I could probably have punched the gas a little bit sooner here to get more speed, but still a quite good lap. Here, I don't know really if you're supposed to put your tires on the curb here. I think you need to, because see how much more space you get. But that in the Porsche you need to lift a little bit, but I think in the BMW and you can't drive the McLaren, but in the BMW you can lift a little bit less than you can in the Porsche here. And then you see how much oversteer I have? The whole car is rotating. Look at it. And here you also want to try to keep it flat. You do a little bit of a lift here, as I said. Look at the inputs here. Little bit of a lift and try to get on the gas as soon as possible. Cut the right hand curb there and a little bit to the left. Go over to the right side again to get maximum space. And I usually brake around the 100 marker there. And then a really important step for this turn. See how much of the curb I cut to the left here. You could probably go a little bit further even. I don't know how far you can go without getting a off track here. But go with the car a lot over the curb, because you want to make the angle as shallow as possible when you drive through here. Then you drive out to the right, and as I said, you could probably have a little bit more speed and also touch the curb here on the green, if you're brave. Go a lot, go far over to the left here, then to the right, keep trail braking. Then punch the gas here, and then we just keep full throttle, all the way to the 50 board here. And I usually, if you look at the gear selector here, I upshift to 6th just before the 50 bollard. I don't know if you do this in the BMW, but at least in the Porsche, you go 6, and then you downshift to 5th, and then 4th. And the reason I do this, because every time you downshift, the car puts a little bit more weight on the front tires, so you can brake a little bit harder without locking, basically. And then you try to not get an off track here in the chicane. It's very, very easy to get an off track here. But if you aim for these, I don't know, these red things, and if you try to go a little bit inside of them, you're usually fine. I think you can't touch the grass or the green here, I don't know. But I know you can go a little bit more shallow here to carry more speed. But it's very risky, especially if you're doing a 24-hour race. You don't want to collect as many X, of course, as many off tracks. Also here, look how far over I am. I'm almost all the way over the white line here, but you can cut a lot here. And here it's very easy to oversteer, so try to keep the car under control. Dart over to the right, brake down, brake, and then you're into 3rd here. And then you wait a little bit with the downshift to second, because you want to use this the compression in the road to get more rotation, as well as downshifting at the same time. And then here you have to go slower than you think, because it's very, very easy to drive out into the wall here, and of course you don't want to damage your car. And also stay away from this curb here, because it will bounce you. I think I took it here a little bit, it's fine though. And then here you want to dive behind the orange barrier here into Sabine Schmidt's curve, I believe it's called, and brake when you get behind the wall. And here you can carry a little bit more speed, maybe turn in a little bit sooner. But downshift into here, and then you want to hit the gas as hard as you can, because it's quite a long straight now, or not straight, but you can hold flat. You can take a little bit of the curb here on the right if you have too much speed, but watch out, because this curb is very high, so you don't want to use it too much, but you can use it if you need to. And then here, of course, it's flat. Go all the way over to the left here at the 2 kilometer sign, and you want to you can still hold flat here. And just hold it, and try to not drive onto the grass here on the left, because if you hit the grass, it's very slippery and it might throw you into the wall on the right side. So just try to keep it on the grip. Here it's a very tricky corner into, I don't know if this part is Hudson-Bach or if this whole section of turns is called Hudson-Bach. I think it's called the entire section-ish. I don't know. I usually brake somewhere like in the middle of the tracks here, and then where the graffiti ends. If you want to be very, very, very safe, you can brake right at the graffiti ending here. Or if you're a little bit more brave, you can brake all the way over here. I think I brake quite late. Or not. I think it looks later in the cockpit. Yeah, as you see, I'm starting to brake when I'm at the end of the graffiti, so it's probably a good place to brake at. Then you downshift here in the left. Then you downshift again when you turn right. Then you hit full throttle, still full throttle, and a little bit of a lift here, and trail brake, so you can take the curb here. And you need to watch out for this curb, because this curb can, if you hit it wrong, it can bounce a lot, and it makes you oversteer and spins you, which of course is not what you want. So be careful with this curb. And then you want to have the car will bounce, and then it will settle, and then you will want to grab as much speed as possible out of this turn. You can take some curb on the right here. Don't go too far though, because it's only grass, it's an old track, so watch out. Brake at the end of the graffiti here. And then you take the curb here if you want. I think you can also go take this turn without taking the curb. But of course, as I said previously, you want to bring as much speed as possible through here, since you're going full speed all the way up to Flugplatz from here. So full gas, and you can take a little bit of a curb here on the right if you need to. And then it's just full gas, all the way up here. Keep it flat, and here somewhere I lift, and you don't even have to brake here. You can either lift completely, or you lift like 50%, and then you get back onto it. Look at this. Little bit of lift, 50% gas, and then when you are through the first turn here at the Flugplatz, you can floor it again. But you need to watch out because you go over a crest here, which makes the car not want to turn. So you get thrown towards outside, which makes you know, you can see how close I am to the grass here. You have to be very, very careful. And if you need to, you can do a little bit of trail braking, but you're going to lose a lot of speed since you're going to carry this field all the way over here to the Swedenkreuz. And I don't really know how to take this in the Porsche. This is the first time, not the first time, but the first day I'm driving this Porsche. I usually drive the BMW around here. But I know in the BMW you can hold it flat through here quite easily. As long as you take the apex at the top of the crest. Because if you take the apex after the crest, you're totally gonna miss it. So you have to aim for the apex before you get over the crest, so that way you hit the crest, the apex on the crest. But in the Porsche, I don't really know why, but I think it's probably because of the engine placement or something, but you can't hit this flat out in the Porsche. You need to lift a little bit. So if you look at my throttle inputs here, I'm gonna lift a little bit. A little bit completely. I didn't even know I lifted that much. Maybe a little bit of trail braking, but this is probably just because I'm a little bit scared. This is the last lap of the race and my tires are a little bit cooked. But I think a small lift is usually all you need to here. And then you can, I'm even on the grass here. But then when you're over the crest, you can smash full gas again. And here, you have to watch out so you don't drift far away to the right. Because if you drift to the right and put your if you put your tires on the grass, you can't brake. You only have 2 tires on the tarmac, and you will almost 100% of the time end up either in the wall here, or in the wall here. You need to stay on the tarmac here. And here I brake when it feels like I am right on the tarmac color change here. So I slam on the brakes, try to brake in a straight line. Of course you still need to correct the car a little bit because you want to move to the left to get speed down to the foxhole here. But slam on the brakes. Third, second, I think I am in right here. Let's see. I can go further back for you. Need to be careful because it's very easy to oversteer here, and as you heard I downshift to second right there. Slam on the gas. Here you can also use a little bit of the curb. Same thing here, don't go too far because it's this curve is 1, very steep, and 2, it's you don't really have a lot of space before you get on the grass here. But I could have carried a little bit of more speed maybe. Now down to the foxhole, left, right. You can full gas here of course. Down into the compression, and then you go over to the right, and then when you go to this, I think it's a sign for a motorbike or something. Yeah. When you go here, you want to trail brake. As you see, I've already started. When you're at this sign, at least in your cockpit view, you're gonna think that you're already at it, but of course it's gonna be a little bit sooner when you do the chase cam. But when you're at this sign, you want to start trail braking. And since this apex is not updated yet from the real version is a really tall and nasty curve, but in the sim it's still very flat, so you can cut it a lot. So you can see here I'm trail braking. I actually missed the curb. Oh well. You can actually put 2 tires up here to get an even faster line through here, but the car will be a little bit unsteady. So if you do that, make sure to watch out in the braking point here, because this is a very hard braking point since you're going full speed and then to a very, very slow section. So you want to get over to the right here. I can show you how I downshift as well. You don't want to downshift. You downshift before the apex on top of foxhole. So trail brake down to 5th. Keep trailing the brakes. Keep trailing the brakes. Keep trailing the brakes. Then you go down to 4th here. And when you turn, you want to hit 3rd. And this is also a very easy place to oversteer, so watch out for that. I usually hit my brakes here when you can hit it on this like crossing thing someone has made. Either you brake there if you have balls, or you brake a little bit earlier if you want to be safe. In the endurance race I would probably brake a little bit earlier here. And again, try to brake a little bit in a straight line before you turn the wheel. And you should probably go even a little bit further out to the right here before you turn in. But I don't think it matters too much. I know like in the real life Nürburgring, I know a lot of people go center of the road here instead all the way out to the right. I don't really know why, but I think it's because it doesn't really matter how before you go out here, since it's this turn up here that you're worried about. I can go back to cockpit for you right here. So you don't want to hit the curb on the left here because it's gonna unsettle the car a lot. Same with this right-hander. You can see how tall the curb is. You don't want to hit it because you're gonna upset the car too much. I hit it a little bit there. A little bit is fine, but you don't want to cut it too much. And when you go after the curb here, you can take some curb on the left. It's very easy to take. You can spin if you're unlucky, but as I said previously, if you don't go too far, you should be safe. Full gas for, past the hope tree of hope. I don't know what that's called. And here I trail brake when I get this color change here. And you want to be far to the right, of course, to carry as much speed as possible. I'm new to this Porsche, as I said previously, so I probably have a little bit more space I can take here. But when you do the 24-hour race, you need to watch out for the grass, because the grass can ruin your race very, very fast. So don't do silly stuff. Here you can either trail brake or just lift the gas. I think I just lift. Yeah, trail brake a little bit. But this turn is quite easy, I would say, in a GT3. It's still a little bit sketchy, of course, but either you lift or you trail brake a little bit. Depends. And then you get a little bit of oversteer here. And then here's a quite tricky turn, because there's really not a great braking point. But I usually brake when I feel like the rear axle is close to this. Like, it's not, I think it's a drainage or something. So if you want to be safe, brake like when you think that the front wheels are at this point. Of course, even if you aim to brake when the rear wheels are at this line, you're probably still gonna brake a little bit too early, because you're focusing, you know, in this turn. When I start to brake, I'm already looking over here. And this is a very important thing about this circuit. It's always a turn leading into the next turn. So you need to always look further ahead. You need to look... My bad. You need to look very far ahead, because you need to plan out where you want to go. So of course I start to brake here, brake in a straight line. Far to the right, because you want to carry speed as usual. Down to third. And then you can easily oversteer here, which I avoided. But you want to go third here, and then you can go flat already here. I know this turn is easier in a BMW than it is in the Porsche, but you can hold flat here. And in the Porsche you get a lot of oversteer, in the BMW also a little bit. And here, same again, I brake at the motorcycle sign. And here it's very easy to mess this corner up, since it's a very tough corner. It's downhill and it's blind and a lot of stuff. You need to take the apex very late. So what I do is I go in from fourth here, and then I brake downshift to third, and then I downshift again to second. And then you want to miss the apex in the beginning. You can see the rubber line here. Everyone is missing the first part here. So you want to miss it, and then you want to take the... you can see the curb tightens here. So you want to apex right there. And then you want to smash the throttle, as you can see here. I'm half now, and then BOM! Full throttle. And here you can take a little bit of the curb as well. It's usually quite forgiving, but as you can see here, you don't have a lot of space, and I think you will get an off track if you're closer to the wall here. If you touch the grass, I think you get an off track, so watch out for this one as well. Here, it's a very scary corner for new players or people who don't know the ring. This corner, these two corners are flat, at least in the GT3. I don't really know how it is in the Porsche Cup. I don't really like that car. But you hold it flat through here. Miss the curb, because if you hit the curb you're gonna bounce a lot and you're gonna end up in the wall right here. So left and then right, miss both curbs, and then it's this turn here. It's called miss hit miss. So what you do is you start to brake approximately when this like curb thing here ends. You can probably take a little bit of it, but I wouldn't risk it because it's very risky. So as you can see, I start to brake and turn when I'm almost at this thing here. You go from fifth down to fourth, at least in the Porsche. I don't really know what gears it is in the other cars, but the corner is called miss hit miss, since there's a triple apex here. First is this one, and then there's this one, and then there's this one. So it is called Jesus, I can't speak. It's called miss, since you want to miss the first curb, then you want to hit the second as your apex, and then you want to miss the third again. So if you look at this, I'm turning here, down to fourth, miss the first one, go very close to the apex here, on the curb, and I think I even touch it a little bit. Yeah, you probably don't want to touch it, because it can be very scary. And then you miss this one, and you try not to touch the grass here, because it's the same thing here. You're loading the car a lot to the left tires, and if you hit the grass, you're gonna spin out very fast. Now, this is the slowest turn on the whole course. I usually brake at these tire marks in the ground here. So brake in a straight line, and you don't want to lift the brakes a little bit to get the car to turn, because you want to see how I'm hugging the apex and keeping to the right here. If you look at my brake trace, first I have a lot of brakes, and then I almost have 0 brakes here to roll some speed and also get some control of the car to get it where I want it to be. Keep on the right, downshift. Here I am down to first, I believe. Yeah, first. So you want to miss here. You want to miss the first apex and take this apex right here, because this is where the turn, like the sharpest point of the turn is. And you go full gas after this, so you want to take the apex right here. And you can go full throttle right when you're at the apex, but in the Porsche it's pretty sketchy here. This curb outside of the track here is very easy to take. You can take it of course, but as I've said a million times now, don't touch the grass because the grass is really slippery. Full gas down here into the Misha crash corner. I start to brake usually when I'm at this curb here. You can either brake here or you can brake at this like asphalt road thing here. Either or works. When this curb here ends is a lot safer, but if you want to gain a little bit more speed, maybe in the quali, you can brake at this asphalt part here. Down into third, I believe. Here you can see how high graphics my computer runs. So you want to take this, you can. It's very easy to understeer here into the wall. That's what Misha did. I would not recommend it because you're gonna damage the tire, damage the car, and probably get some wheel damage and cause alignment issues. You have to drive with the crooked wheel until you get to the pit. But third gear here, you can take a little bit of a curb here, but watch out when you take it, because as you can see, the curb ends very abruptly. So it almost ends right when you want to take it. So it's very easy to go on the grass right there, and if you go on the grass, you will with 100% certainty hit the wall right here, because this grass comes up very fast, and when you hit the grass, the tires start to unload, and also the weird stuff happens, so you will spin. So be very careful if you take this curb right here. It is possible to do, but be very careful. Wrong cam again. Here we go. And this corner is also one of the hardest turns on the whole circuit. I will play you through it a couple of times. So I think that's the best way I got this corner the whole time I've driven here today. So you of course want to be very far to the left before you turn. And then before this curb ends, and when you're in the compression, you want to start to turn, because this is an uphill. It goes uphill, and then it turns, and then it goes even more uphill. So the track pushes you very far to the left every time you go through here. So you will see I go down to third gear. Oh, maybe even go down to second gear. Keep far to the left, and then you want to roll here. Because you don't really need to brake that much since you are going uphill, so you're gonna slow down anyway. So brake, and then when you're right before the apex, you almost let off the gas completely here. You let off the brakes completely, and then you want to slam on the gas. Since you're going uphill, so you want to push the power down as fast as you can to carry momentum. But this corner is also very hard. It's very easy to oversteer, it's very easy to understeer, it's very easy to hit the curb before here on the inside, it's very easy to hit the curb on the outside. So this is a very dangerous corner. So what you need to do is you need to be very careful with what you do here. And this is the best I got to corner all day, as I said. So start to turn in, and then when you are at the apex, smash the gas. And as you can see, the car starts to hop out to the left and also over-rotate a little bit. Oversteer a little bit. So be careful, you don't want to touch the curb too much here. As you can see, I go up on it quite a lot. If I would have gone any further on the grass here, I would probably have spun, because this grass is also very slippery, and there's a weird like unloading of the car if you go on there. So I would avoid touching the grass. You can touch the curb a little bit, but be very careful in that corner. You need to carry a lot of speed. Here, of course, it's flat out all the way. And then I brake when I'm at the Bergwerk sign here. This corner is called Bergwerk, and it's also one of the slower corners on the track. And this, I'm gonna let you watch through it. This corner is very difficult, since it gets tighter and tighter and tighter the further in the corner you go. And you need to carry speed, since you want to hit this straight afterwards, or not straight, but with this full gas part of the track with as much speed as possible, so you don't have to accelerate. So what you do is you brake in a straight line here at the Bergwerk sign, the second sign. You see first is a Achtung sign, and then you get to a second sign, and that's where I brake. So full speed at the sign, brake, and then you want to brake in a straight line, because as I said, this corner's apex is very late, so you want to stay out to the left for a very long time. So still out to the right, still out to the right, still out to the right. And when you start to see the curve here on the exit, then you can start to hit the throttle. I usually look like around here somewhere. I usually don't look up here, because this is not where I want to go yet. I still want to hit the apex. So here I'm looking at the apex, here I'm looking at the apex, and when I get to somewhere around here, maybe a little bit more back, somewhere around here, then I start to look at the exit. So at the Bergwerk sign, smash the brake and brake in a straight line, down the third, second even. And then I want to smash the gas, because as I said, this is a very long straight afterwards, so you want to carry as much speed as possible. And this corner is also, it is possible to take the curb here on the left. But as I said before, I don't really advise it too much, because it's very scary if you touch the grass here. So I wouldn't rely on taking the curb every time. I would, especially in the 24-hour race, I would try to avoid it. Or at least you can touch the red and white part, but don't go over it, because once you touch here, it's very scary, and the car can maybe even bottom out on the curb here. But then you go flat through here all the way. It doesn't really matter what line you take here, as long as you keep to the left and make the corner as short as possible. And here you go a little bit over to the right. You don't even have to worry that much about using all the track, because this corner is very easy in this car with a lot of high speed downforce. So flat. And then we get to Kesselchen. This straight is apparently called, I don't know. We get to Mutkurve, I believe it's called. Up here on the left. So right here. Here you want to put two tires on the like these bricks here. And in the Porsche at least, you go from, you can stay in second here. Sixth here. You can stay in sixth gear. You can stay in sixth gear. I don't know. You can stay in sixth gear here. But it's usually a little bit easier if you just downshift to fifth, because either way you're gonna be very low in the revs in sixth gear, or you're gonna be high in the fifth. So I would probably do the high in the fifth, because it's a little bit more reliable, I feel, and you also get a little bit more of that rotation, as I spoke about earlier in the chicane, where you want to downshift to keep weight on the front wheels. And it's a little bit of the same here. You go two tires on the bricks here, downshift, and you trail back just a little bit. And then you want to slam on the gas again. Don't touch this curve, whatever you do. You can see how steep it is. It's like 45 degrees. So if you hit it, you will be sent to the wall here. And if you're not careful, you're gonna do like the Bilstein Mercedes did. I can insert a clip of it. But here, it's very easy to go on the grass right here, which happened to be to the Mercedes. He touched the grass, and that just made him keep the slide, and I think that probably saved him a little bit also, since he could bring back the car a little bit easier. But you need to be really careful here if you're gonna full sand it, because look at this, you have like 5 brick widths before you are on the grass. So as you can see, you have such little space here for failure here, or like a room for safety, basically room for errors. You want to be very careful here because it's very easy to hit the wall here as well. This is one of those high risk corners. So 2 tires on the bricks, downshift, and then slam on the gas again. Try to not get an off track. It's very easy to get an off track here because you can touch the bricks, but if you cut this part too much here, you're 100% of the time getting an off track, which of course you don't want in a 24-hour race. This corner is flat, stay very far to the left, and then just pray that you don't hit the curb here, because if you hit the curb, you're probably gonna spin. So a general rule of thumb around here is don't hit the curbs. You can hit some curbs, but try to stay avoid from almost all of them. So here you can see I'm very far to the left, and then just throw the car in and just hope it sticks, which it usually does. You can hit if you don't take this corner correctly, you will go into the grass here, which probably will make you crash once again. Look how close I get to the grass. I'm almost on the white line, so I have a few more centimeters before I absolutely stack it. But I know there's a quite amount of different lines through this corner. I'm not really sure how to take it, if I'm being honest. I usually go to the right side because the curve, the turn goes a little bit left and then it goes a lot to the right. So I usually go on the right and then I go over to the left on the curb here. And I brake when I'm at the start of the curb. So keep left, keep left, keep left. And then you want to miss the apex at first. I think my tires were a little bit cooked here, so I missed apex by quite a bit. But you can hit the apex like almost at the graffiti, I think is the correct way to hit it. And then you want to try to make sure that you don't hit the grass here. I think I do touch the grass a little bit, yeah. Because this is also one of those places, if you have a little bit of oversteer and you go up to the grass, you will 100% of the time end up in the wall to the right here. So you need to be very careful of that. And this corner is very easy to lock up the brakes, especially in the Porsche Cup car. This is so bouncy. You lock up the brakes and then you go straight into the wall ahead. So be on the right side, go over to the left, brake at the curb, stay left, stay left, stay left. Then you want to downshift to second gear. Try to not understeer as much as I do here. You can take a little bit of the curb here, but be very, very careful. And here we come to one of the most famous parts of this track. It's the first carousel, or the big carousel. I don't know if it's called the big carousel, but it's at least the first carousel. The last carousel is called the kleine carousel, which means little in German. So I guess this is a big carousel. And here I usually brake. You see there's a little bit of a angle in the both the curb and the white line here. So that's usually where I brake. I go from, I think it's from 4th, if I'm correct. Yeah, 4th brake, because it's a little bit of a, what do you call it? Like a divot or something. And if you brake there, you can slam on the brakes without locking the brakes. So 4, 3, and then I go straight here. And then I just tip the car in, and then you want to try to hold the steering wheel in the same position through the whole of the corner. It's very difficult if you haven't done any practice on this course and are thinking about doing the 24-hour race. You need to practice a lot, I'm telling you, because I don't even know how many laps I have on this track at this point. I have probably 100 laps minimum on iRacing, and I have done countless hot laps in this on this track in Assetto Corsa. Back when I did some, I tried to do hot laps in the 962 around here offline, not to beat anyone. I just really liked that combination before I had this rig and Assetto Corsa and iRacing and stuff. So brake in the divot here, and then third, second, and then just tip the car in. And you don't want to brake anything here. If you look at my brake trace, I stopped braking almost immediately when I'm in the carousel. But you see, I am trying to hold the steering wheel at the same position through the whole corner. And it's very easy when you do this corner in the beginning to either go out too early or too late. It's better to exit too late than too early, because if you go out of this too early, you're gonna hit a wall here and you're gonna lose a lot of time because the car doesn't want to rotate because it's so unstable when you do that. So you want to hit the gas approximately halfway through the turn here. I know if you run a little bit better graphics, you get like a... Someone has drawn, I think it might be this one, but it's like a box in here. A square. And that marks the like halfway point of the carousel, I think. I don't know, I at least use it as that. So you want to carry a little bit of a throttle through here. You look at my green brake here. A little bit of throttle all the way, and then smack, full speed. And you want to exit, you can either like jump up a little bit here, or you can drive to further to the left here if you maybe are in a slower class car and expecting the like GTs or Porsche Cups to pass you here. You can keep to the left here till carry some speed. But you want to jump out of the carousel and go towards the curb there. Of course, don't go on the grass, as I've said I don't know how many times now, but don't touch the grass. So to the left, keep steering wheel. Try to not go as much on the flat part here. You want to keep both of the tires on the banking if possible. You can take... I thought it said my name right there, Jesus. You can use the flat part here a little bit, but yeah, it helps a little bit with the rotation, but when you start to put the throttle down, it will upset the car, so try to keep both of the, or all of the tires on the banking. So when you're halfway through, smash on the gas, miss the curbs here, miss the curb there, and this is flat, so nothing to worry about here. Keep as far to the right as possible, because it can be very slippery on this left-hander here, especially if you're driving a slower car. I don't know if the BMW is even, the M2 that is, I don't even know if that is flat through here, so be careful. I know the GT3s are quite easily flat through here. I don't know about the Porsche Cup either, but stay to the right, full speed, to the left, upshift. And here, this is where the fun starts, in my opinion. My favorite part of this track is between the carousels, so between the first and the second carousel. So you can even go further to the right here, closer to the curb, but this is my first day on the Porsche, so I don't really know how wide it is, so I'm trying to be a little bit cautious. So don't hit the curb on the intro here, and don't hit the curb there either, but you can place your car right here. And this is also one of those spots, because this is the highest point of the track, and this is over a crest. So when you go over a crest, the car gets lighter, and it wants to like keep you going in the direction that you were going in. So if you go too much on the curb here, you're going to end up in the grass, and then you're gonna smash into the wall right here. So let's watch this in slow motion again. We can watch it from cockpit view. So cockpit and slow motion. So fourth here, you can even stay in fifth if you want, but you go fourth and then you downshift when you turn. I thought I did, but apparently not. I usually do that, and so I downshift to third, like right here. I go one downshift when I turn left, and then one downshift when I turn right again. I don't know why I didn't do it in this lap, but that's usually how I do it. It's quite easy. Or not easy, but it's reliable, that's what I meant. And here you want to trail brake, because once again you're going over crest, the car is light, and if you brake hard you're gonna upset the car and lock the brakes. And this corner is quite tricky because it's very slippery around here. So what you want to do is you want to remove the car from the curb here, and then you want to turn in and try to hug the apex as long as you can, because you want to use this like compression again to keep the car on the inside. And then you have to watch out again to not drift far to the left, so you go on the grass. This is how it looks from chase cam. So far to the left, turn in, hug the curb, and then full speed, and don't hit the grass. And then we have this part, which is called it is the pith path, maybe, I don't know. I think it is pith path. I'm not 100% sure about all the names around here, but what you want to do is you do a little bit of lift here, so you can keep the car far to the right, because if you don't do it, you're gonna get the wrong line here. If you're far to the right, you're gonna get the line like this, which I can show you. These two curves right here and right here, you want to take them as much as you can, so you can get a straight line. But if you don't do as I say, if you go to the left here, you're not gonna get a good line, and you have to gonna overslow the car way too much. So hug the curb, go over to the left, trail brake, and take the curb and flat out when you hit the first curb here. Keep it flat, keep it flat. I didn't do it in this lap, but in the BMW I believe it's a little bit easier to keep it flat. So, and then watch out for the curb here. You can't have too much steering input since you're going over curb, and it will upset the car a lot if you hit it too fast. And once again, watch out for the grass here. The grass is very slippery. You don't want to hit it because you're gonna go off the track. So once again, hug the apex, throw it over, miss the first apex, go on the curb on again. And then when you get to this compression, you want to brake approximately where this ends. And you can once again slam on the brakes quite hard since it's a compression. So quite hard on the brakes, and then you downshift mid corner because you want to keep the rolling speed up the hill, and then when you want to rotate, you downshift to get a little bit more rotation. And here is once again very easy to drift out since it's over a crest, so you have to watch out for the grass here. You can't take the curb right here as I do, but you need to watch out for the grass because if you hit the grass once again it's over. And in this next corner you brake at this Yokohama board here, braking quite a straight line, fourth, and then when you turn, downshift to third. And then you can go on the gas quite early here, since if you miss the apex a little bit, you can go closer to the apex of course, but you can slam on the gas quite hard here to carry a lot of speed. And then here you want to position the car far to the left. And if I am thinking correctly, I am in fourth here, no I am in third. Okay, so third. And then here I brake almost when this like curb thing once again ends. In this corner you have to be very careful because with the ABS in this, it might want to throw the car off balance, which will make you oversteer and spin. Either that, or you might be too cautious and don't brake hard enough, which will make you get an off track, which is very easy to get down here. This is a YouTube corner if you don't know this section, this one and this next one. Here it's very easy to get an off track. I think it's if you like touch the grass here or something. I don't know, it's very easy to get an off track here, so just watch out if you're doing the 24-hour race. So try to hug the corner. You see I turn in very early here. I'm not even, you see if I would have taken this line in if this corner would have been like flat, it's a little bit cambered, and if this wouldn't have been a downhill and not have been curved, cambered, I would not have been able to take this line. But since it is both cambered and a little bit of a downhill, I can take this line. So brake at the curbing, keep holding it, keep holding it, since you will be driving out to the left a lot here. And as I said, watch out for the grass here. Here you start to brake at the end of the curb, the rumble strip thing here. So brake when this red thing here ends, and then you want to hold fourth for a little bit, and then you want to downshift to third before you go on the gas. So watch here, fourth, and then you want to do. You can even do a little bit the downshift a little bit later. You can even do it like around here maybe, but I did it a little bit too early. Of course, like you're never gonna have a perfect lap around here. This track is I don't know. It's 25.95 kilometers, and there's no way you're gonna hit every apex every lap. So just try to find something consistent. Watch this video to get like an understanding of where you can maybe gain speed or be a little bit more safe. But as I said, brake when the red and white ends and downshift. And then I want to hit the gas quite hard here. Don't go. This is the turn where everybody on YouTube, like auto addiction, is stationed up here somewhere. But this is the turn where everybody goes out into the gravel, since this is also on like over a crest turn. So you need to be very careful here. You can use the curb all the way up here, but be very careful because if you touch the gravel, you can spin. Or yeah, maybe not spin because this gravel is quite not sticky, but you can save it quite easy. And then you go from the left side here over to the right, and then here I brake in this like tarmac change right here. And once again I do the little shift thing. So I would, if you look at my gear here, I am first in third, and then I immediately upshift to fourth and down again. So 4 and then down. and brake right at the line. Downshift in the third at the same time. You can maybe even carry fourth a little bit. But then you want to go on the gas quite hard here, since this is a uphill and you're flat for quite a long time. So slam on the gas, take a little bit of curb here, and once again, if you're oversteering, try to avoid the curb, because that will unload the car in weird ways and it might throw you to the grass, which will throw you to the left side wall, so watch out for that. You take a little bit of curb here, and then this part is full gas. Don't go to the left here. You need to stay to the right to get a straight line to the jump. So here, this turn is very dependent on what car you drive. It's way easier to take this corner in the BMW than in the Porsche. But what I do is I am in fifth right here, and then in the air, or just before I get into there, I hit the brakes, then I downshift, and then I miss the first apex by a little bit. And then I modulate the gas. As you can see, I can't be full gas here because I will oversteer too much. But what you want to do is you want to aim for this curbing right here on the right side. But I wouldn't hit it, but try to stay close to it, because you want to keep full gas over here to the Flansgarten. And don't hit this curb, because as you can see, it disturbs the car a lot, which can once again make you crash. So I would advise you not to do that. You see, I hit the curb, which made me have to lift a little bit. And here as well, watch out for the grass. You can use these bricks here, but don't use the grass, because this grass is very slippery and you're going 200 kilometers per hour, and you want to turn in quite hard for this, like the real Flansgarten jump, the second one. So let's watch this back again, because this is quite a tricky part of the track. This is one of my favorite parts of it. So brake in the air, down to fourth. You can brake even a little bit before the jump. Miss the curb a little bit, and then you want to aim to be as close to the curb as possible. As you can see how much I oversteer. And then you want to wait a little bit before you turn over. Don't hit the curb. Be very careful here to not go on the grass too much, because that is extremely slippery. And here you don't want to hit the curb on the inside here, because if you have ever driven this track in like a Ringmeister when it's the Radical SR8 and you hit the curb, you go like I think it was like Jenson Button or Mark Webber who did a backflip in the Mercedes at Le Mans. You're doing almost that, but if you don't hit the curb, it's quite easy. But just stay on the left here, stay on the left, stay on the left, stay on the left. And this part is full throttle all the way from in essence, you're full throttle from here, if you can. But full throttle, don't hit the curb, don't use the grass, full throttle left. Here you want to keep left to the track. Did I slow it down 2 times? Yes, I did. So you do the jump, you go far over to the left, then you change over to the right, go close to the curb here, then just follow the curb until you can't follow it anymore, then the left, and then the right, don't hit the curb here as well. You can use this bricks here to do the little bit of a shortcut, not that it helps too much, but it it feels correct. And here I brake when I can't see the graffiti anymore, and you can probably even brake here at the line if you have really big balls, but I didn't have it since this was the last lap and I just wanted to get into the finish line. So quite hard on the brakes, and then you go from, is it 6th gear? Yeah, 6th down to 4th or 5th. And as you can see, if you don't take this corner correctly, you get very easily oversteer. And as I said previously, this corner is also easier in the BMW because it feels a little bit more planted than the Porsche. But I would probably take this corner in 4th, at least in the Porsche. Try to find what is like. It's probably the 4th in the BMW as well, but you need to find out what gear to use in this corner for your car. You want to carry a lot of speed. But as I said, right when the graffiti ends, go on the brakes quite hard. You can brake quite hard even though it's a turn, but you have to let off the brakes for the turn, of course. Otherwise you're gonna go straight. And don't do what I did here and do a cam block impression to go a lot sideways. What you really want to do is you want to be in 4th here and go closer to the curb. So you want to be like on the right side of the track here when this graffiti ends. But of course I couldn't because I have the steering wheel the wrong way. So you want to be far to the right here, and then you want to go into third and take this apex very late. And this is also one of those like over a crest turns, which throws it to the wall right here. This corner is also very easy to crash at, so this is also one of those high risk corners. So stay to the right here, go into third, and then you want to slam on the gas. You can use a little bit of this curb right here on the right, but not too much of course. And here I brake usually when I feel like I'm at the end of this graffiti also. So as you can see, look at my gears. Third, and then fourth for just a second or so. And then down to third to get some pressure on the front wheels. And then I can even do second gear here or third, depending on like how much speed you can carry in. Third is faster, but it throws you out of the carousel a little bit earlier. And as you can see here, if you get too much speed and too much rotation, and when you jump you're gonna over rotate here, and you might spin, so be careful in this kleine carousel. And then this part right here is one of the most crucial corners. What I usually do is I go 4 to the left here, and when I want to turn right, do a little bit of trail braking. Maybe, I don't know if you can like only lift, but trail braking is way safer here. And then full gas of course, and then when you're at the crest again, you need to do a little bit of a lift, at least in the Porsche. I think it's a lift in the BMW as well, the M4. Of course, and I haven't mentioned this earlier, but if I say the BMW, I mean the M4. If I don't say that, I mean the M2. So a little bit of a lift here over the crest. Full gas, and then lift on the crest. And then try to... I usually aim for this, like when the curb begins right here. And since you're going like over a crest, you're never gonna hit the curb unless you have a lot of grip for some reason. But if you aim to hit the curb, you will almost always miss it. That's at least how I do it, so be a little bit careful with that. But you need to go full throttle as early as you can, because now you come to the Dottinger Höhe, I think it's called. Yeah, Dottinger Höhe. And this is the longest straight in the world, longer than Le Mans, longer than the straights in the American highway system. Longer than the Kennedy Space Station landing site. This is the longest. You're holding full throttle here for a very long time. And I know in real life you want to stay to the left here, because the wind comes from the left and is blocked by the trees. But if you go to the right, you get some turbulent air which slows you down. I don't know how much iRacing simulates that, but stick to the left if you want to. That's usually how I do it. And here is another one of those high risk corners. I would not advise going too wide here, because it gets very, very sketchy. It's very bouncy right here when you go into the first left. As you can see, the car bounces a lot here. I think it even lifts off the ground at some point. But I go flat through here, and then still flat, and then I brake when this darker section right here ends, when I have my front wheels at it. And then you slam the brakes, and then you take the curb here. And you want to be as close to this orange wall here as possible, because you want to get a good run out of the right left, since it's like GP straight afterwards, which you want speed for of course. So slam on the brakes when the tarmac changes, close to the wall, third, second, take some curb, and then you hit full gas. Don't touch the curb here on the left side, because it will send you straight into the wall here, so watch out for that. I think I hit the wall. Yep. I touched the wall a little bit because I got too eager to get on the straight. Yeah, you can hit the gas right here. Try to not hit the wall, and then you have done a lap here at the Nürburgring. And hopefully, if you follow the same steps I have done, you might get close to 8:15. And hopefully you're a little bit faster. But as I said before, it's very hard to get this lap correct every single time, since it's such a long track with a lot of corners. You will never have a perfect lap, and you will also have traffic when you do the 24 hours. And if you're doing like a GT3 sprint race or something, you're also gonna have other cars in front of you, which blocks your view. So yeah, I would just advise to not touch any curbs other than the ones I told you to touch. Try to plan ahead, look far away into the next corner, don't look like you're just in front of your nose. You need to look quite far ahead. And be smart. You can't go too wide almost anywhere. There's a very few overtaking spots in this track. Because of just the nature of it. It's quite a small track, and especially on the ring, the track is very small. It's not wide enough to go too wide in almost any place. You will lose a lot of time, and you might also get like off tracks and car contacts and stuff. So just be careful where you plan to do your overtakes. The easiest spots are of course in the hard braking zones, and also in the Nottingham Her here. Of course in the straight, so you want to draft and then you can pass them. But don't be too greedy, because if you're too greedy you're 100% of the time gonna crash. So yeah, with that said, I'm just gonna leave you now with a complete lap of the circuit. I'm gonna do it from cockpit view so you see like exactly what I see when I do it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this very different video that I usually post. And if you want more stuff like this in the future for some reason, then leave a comment or a like or subscribe or dislike or share it on MySpace and Facebook and stuff if you want. But yeah, with that said, I hope you have a good day, and here comes the complete lap.